Hi guys and welcome to Horologique. Today we are going to check the absolutely best 10 watches in regards to value that you can find and buy right now in this month of June-July 2024. I must admit that this exercise was quite hard because there are so many great watches at great prices, and that is what we specialize in this channel. So if that is something that you like, if you like to see this content, affordable yet great quality watches, you have come to the right place. If you have not subscribed, please do so right now. I'm of course going to be leaving links in the description of this video to all the watches that you see right here. And know that the thing about this channel is that I always put my money where my mouth is, and all the watches that I'm going to recommend, or most of them, I own myself. And the way we are going to go about it is I didn't want to put too many watches from exactly one single place. For example, I could have put 10 AliExpress watches or 10 Casios. I didn't want to go that way, so I kind of mixed things up, and I'm gonna put 5 watches from AliExpress and 5 watches from Amazon or other vendors, let's say, pretty much big names. These two sections will not compete against each other. Of course, you cannot say that the value from the first is better than the value from the second one, because they're different watches competing at different leagues, namely because of the brand names. So that is why I have separated these two parts. And the way I'm gonna go about it is I'm going to go for each part from the least to the most expensive of watches. And I'm going to start by the AliExpress watches, and I'm going to start by one that will certainly surprise you. It did surprise me because I wasn't expecting this at all from this brand, and it is the Pagani Design homage to the Audemars Piguet code 11.59. And this watch comes in at $47 on AliExpress, and it is the best finished watch you can have for that kind of money. It is incredible. It is of course a homage, as we have said, but the finishing on this thing is just otherworldly for the price. All the subtleties, even the case has these creases that you can see that are mimicking of course the original, but that are here and that are just great. You have a double domed sapphire crystal, you've got a fully stainless steel case, beautifully finished as we have said. We have a Seiko VK63 Mega Quartz in here. Everything is great, even the case back is great, and we're not used to this from Pagani Design. Pagani Design usually tend to stretch what they give us. They tend to give us great specs, but yes, so finishing and so lume. Here it is not the case. Finishing is amazing for this price point. This finishing could go on a watch costing 10 times these, so that is quite impressive. You really have to see it to believe it. On the negative part of this watch, of course, it is a homage, so people who don't like homages will not like this. It is dimensions as well, because at 41mm in diameter and especially 51mm in lug to lug, it will not fit all wrists, and you do notice it when you put it on the wrist. Here you can see it on my 17cm in circumference wrist. It will go on wrists that are medium to large. You cannot try these on small wrists, but for the value, I believe that this is almost king, because the next watch that is for me king of value on AliExpress and maybe on all watches is of course the Steeldive 1970. I have here my bronze version, but the one that I'm gonna talk to you about is the stainless steel version. This is of course another homage, a homage of the Seiko Willard, a big Seiko from the 1970s, 44mm in diameter with a protected crown, quite a quirky design, but this is extremely good value. The design is really appealing with that 70s vibe in there. You've got a sapphire crystal, a flat sapphire crystal, you've got a ceramic bezel insert, you've got a fully stainless steel case, you've got a bracelet with solid elements and solid clasp and a solid scissor clasp at that, and you've got great lume, something that usually watches at this price point, especially Pagani Designs, do not give you. This watch gives it in heaps. Even the bezel insert is loomed, and really greatly so. The negative aspect of this watch is of course the fact that it's a homage, number one, and of course the fact that some people might not find really wearable. That 44mm in log-to-log is something quite big, let's be honest. However, Seiko have pulled a Seiko trick on this one, and the effective log-to-log is only 46.7mm, making it quite wearable on most wrists. And at $51, there's really no excuse for not having this watch. At number 3, it is the darling of the Chinese chronographs. It is of course the Seagull 1963. I air quote Seagull because this is not made by Seagull. The one that I'm going to link you to is made by Red Star, but the movement, the amazing movement, which is the soul of this watch, is the amazing Seagull made by Seagull ST1901. And this movement is just a beauty to behold. You who know this channel maybe are sick of hearing me talk about this watch, but it's because of something. Because take a look at this movement. It is extremely beautiful. It is derived from a Venus movement, so a Swiss movement manufactured in the 1940s and 50s by Venus. The Chinese, who were trying to set their own factory, imported all the machinery and actually bought the rights for this movement in the 1960s. So if you want more details about this watch, I'm going to be linking, of course, the video that I did about it. But it is an amazing piece. Besides from all the history, besides from the fact that it's an original Chinese homage with a lot of heritage, it is a pretty appealing watch. Besides from the movement, only 38mm in diameter. You have bigger versions now, you have 40mm. It is a really beautiful watch, and of course the greatest part is that movement, that amazing movement. Come on, a column wheel chronograph for only $110. On sale it can go as low as $90. Now I see that around $110. You can wait for the sale if you want, but I believe it is great, extremely good value. The negative points, we always do talk about those, is the fact that it's been a movement from the 1940s, can be a little bit delicate, so do not bash around this old lady. It is a bit delicate. Treat it nicely and with care. And if you do, it will give you many years of great service. The next watch of the selection is the Boderry Voyager. This was so much of a bestseller a few months ago that Boderry had a lot of trouble making enough to meet the demand. I believe they're beyond that. They have made enough now to answer the demand, but this watch was so successful basically because it is a solid titanium watch that has quite an appealing military design. And Boderry has proposed it in many different versions with many different dial colors, even different materials. There's titanium, but there's also bronze, of course. They have the Seiko NH35 or the Seiko NH36 on some versions, on the day-date versions. And you've got this great titanium case, which is quite complex for the price point. The price point outside of the sales, it is around the $100 mark, a little bit more than that. For what you're getting, it's just fine. You have the option to put it on a bracelet. I bought the full titanium bracelet, but I believe that it makes it a little bit bulky, so I would advise you to take the version on a canvas strap, which is just good enough, single pass. The design is effective, I would say. It is not a homage of anything. It is a military watch. Of course, you've got that 24-hour military time on the dial. You've got a date or a day date, as we have said, at 4, and a protected crown guard. 100 meters of water resistance should make these a very compelling watch for an everyday use. You've got some lume as well, and it's pretty good, to tell you the truth, for a watch at this price point. You've got sapphire crystal, of course. Negative aspects is especially that weird dimensions. Even though you've got a 40mm in diameter case, you've got a log-to-log of 49mm, which is quite big, and a log width of 22. Yeah, some pretty strange dimensions in there, which make the watch feel a little big on the wrist, so this will not go on small wrists, but only on medium to large wrists, so do know that if you're interested in this watch. Last watch on the selection, it had to be be a Saint Martin. Saint Martin makes so many great watches. I had trouble picking up which one to suggest to you, but right now I believe that the best value is the SN0118, and it's this quite colorful, nice little diver watch, yellow dial with blue bezel insert that I have here, but you also have a mint dial, you also have a blue dial with yellow bezel insert. They have played with colors around here, and there's two things with this watch. It is an original design, first of all, and it has amazingly well done polished indices, so it does feel like something quite luxurious, even though that case is pretty simple. It is just brushed all over, but it is made to great quality standards, and you can get it either on the rubber strap or you can get it on this Milanese strap that is very high quality. And the thing about this strap is that you can remove it very easily to put something else, and you also have some micro adjustment that you can make without any tools thanks to this clasp. So that is really good, especially at this price point. It is $179 on the rubber strap and only $214 right now with this amazing Milanese bracelet. Let's go to the other part, to the, let's say, Amazon watches, so to watches from big brands. And first of all, of course, you were expecting that the lowest priced part of this selection is dominated by Casio. And first of all, you've got the Casio A168 that I have here, which comes at not even $22. It is an extremely nice watch. You know about this watch. I could have picked up the 158, which is thinner, but I believe that this one gives you the electroluminescence that is amazing. That thing, whenever you fire it up on the dark, you only see that. It is extremely nice. It is a very simple watch in terms of functionality. You have day, date, hour, of course. You've got one alarm, you've got a stopwatch, and that's all. If you compare that to other Casios, quite crazy, but this is what you get. It is also a unisex fashion icon. You can see a lot of really fashionable people with this watch, and that is very nice to see. It always brings a smile to my face because this is pretty much a fashion icon. On the negative part, it is maybe a bit small for some people, so if you've got very large wrists, know that it can be a little dainty. But besides from that, come on, you cannot go wrong with a Casio 168 or a 158. At number 2, you've got the Casio Martin, and the Martin is a darling of the watch world. It is a pretty large 44mm in diameter watch from Casio, a diver at 200 meters in water resistance, or 20 bar should I rather say, which is of course an analog quartz watch, and this one has the little marling in there, and they're still producing this version, which makes me really happy because they made a V2, they're still making a V2 without the marling, which does not have the same charm, I would say. In the USA, the link that I'm going to put in here, they also keep on producing it, and they have not cracked prices up. It is right under $50, which is great for this watch. You've got great luminescence, you've got a functional turning bezel with 120 click, you've got lume that is not great, but it's good enough, it is serviceable, let's say, and all that for $150. We can call this the Martin, we can call this the Bill Gates, because billionaire Bill Gates has been known to wear this watch quite a lot. Negative points, it is of course the fact that it's a pretty large watch, so do know that, even though the log-to-log at under 50 makes it pretty wearable even on medium-sized wrists, and the fact that you have a mineral crystal. But what did you expect at this price point? This is not AliExpress. At right over $200, you've got the Orient Kamasu, which I cannot find mine. God knows why, I'm a mess. But I've had that watch for maybe 3 years. I believe I had it ever since it came out, because that watch gave you so much more than its predecessor, especially and namely because of the sapphire crystal. But it is a great watch at 41 millimeters in diameter with an automatic in-house Orient movement. And that watch, especially the V1, there's been many versions. I think there's 3 main versions up to now, but the V1 at least, I believe, is the most elegant, with those elongated, graceful hands, shall we say, and of course that sapphire crystal, very important, that one. And it comes around the $200 mark, which is great for this watch. Of course, it does have many negative points, especially coming from that awful bracelet. That bracelet is just not good. It has solid links, but hollow end links and an awful pressed clasp. And especially it does not taper enough. It goes from 20 to 18. It just feels too bulky for this elegant watch. So replace it for something else and you'll have a premium watch in here. Even keep it on the original bracelet if that does not bother you. But you've got great lume as well in here, which is quite amazing. So if somebody asks for a great diver from a major brand from around the $200 mark, I always point them in the direction of the Kamasu. And nothing has come up to now to really challenge that position. At around the same price, you've got a watch that kind of competes with the Kamasu without really reaching it, but which is great value. A watch from Seiko, the SRPE 55, and this is more of a Gata watch, which comes from the Seiko 5 line, which replicates the DesKX model, but here you do not have the turning bezel. This is, after all, a sports Gata watch. The positive aspects, you've got great lume on the watch. It is a great looking watch as well. The bracelet is pretty good. The links are solid. Gone are the awful Seiko 5 bracelets that you had previous generation of Seiko 5s. Here you've got a bracelet with solid links, even though the end links are hollow and the clasp has pressed elements. You've got a Seiko 4R36 in here with a date complication at around $200 to $220. This is also good value that you should definitely take into account. One of the last good values from Seiko, shall we add. And last watch from this selection, you knew I was coming to this one. One of the best value watches from these last few years is of course the Citizen Tsuyosa. The Tsuyosa did not revolutionize anything. It was a watch that grew from the hype of the PRX, which came out even a year and a half before it, but the Tsuyosa took it to another level. Let's not take anything from the PRX. The PRX was first, it brought back the whole vibe of affordable integrated bracelet watches, but the PRX was like $700. The Tsuyosa is $300, $250 even, with an automatic movement. However, the Series 8 is not the most refined of movements, but an automatic movement. Beautiful construction, great finishing, integrated bracelet with solid elements, only the clasp is not solid, and they have declined this thing almost infinitely. You've got many colors on the first version. You've got, of course, the classic yellow one, you've got blue, you've got black, you've got dark blue, you've got sky blue, and then they released a version with the small seconds that I have here, and hobnail dial, which is beautiful as well. Dial is just beautiful. Sapphire crystal, a pretty decent lume for a watch of this type. The Citizen Tsuyosa has all that you need, and if you can have it at $250, it is an extremely good value. That's been it for the review, guys. If it was useful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We often do these kind of reviews of tops, and many surprises are coming very soon. We have some major sales events coming, and you're gonna hear about them in this channel if you do subscribe and follow. I'm gonna leave you here with other selection of watches that you need to see right now, and with other watches that I really don't recommend that you buy. Thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Goodbye.